If the haters are right, Luka Doncic will end his Hall of Fame career with 0 championships. But how is that even possible with so much talent? Because of one awful comparison.
Is Luka Doncic just becoming the Dallas version, the bigger version of James Harden? Always has the ball, initiates a ton of contact. That takes its toll on you over a game. Everything goes through him, and he scores 35 to 38 points. And then by the end of the game, he's gassed, and they're picking on him.
One stat actually backs up that spicy take. Offensive load shows how much a player dominates his own offense. The highest offensive load ever? Russell Westbrook's MVP season. Great numbers, disaster in the playoffs. Number 2, Rockets James Harden. Every player in this top 10 has big talent, 0 titles. You do not want to be on this list, but Luka is. Twice. His 61 offensive load this year would rank top 10 all time. Or we could look at usage rate. Luka's usage would be number 3 ever behind who else? Russell Westbrook and James Harden. That is a horrible sign for Luka's career, but it's not true. There is a giant difference between Luka and all those others. Harden's curse is a history of playoff meltdowns. In elimination games, he's gone 2 for 11 3 times. He set the record for turnovers with 12 against the Warriors in 2015. Luka gets better in the biggest games. 8 40-point games in just 3 trips to the playoffs. One bad elimination game that Dallas still won. But there is another giant red flag nobody's talking about. The actual comparison haters should be making is to LeBron, and not in a good way. LeBron was drafted to the Cavs in 2003. His best teammates were Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Carlos Boozer. The Cavs were not able to keep Booz, and they missed the playoffs the next year. But LeBron emerged as one of the best players in the league at 20 years old. His first playoff game dropped a 32-point triple-double. In year 4, made the case for the best player alive at 22. Remind you of anyone? In a decisive Game 5 of the East Finals, LeBron scored 48 points against the Pistons, but it was the way he dominated that put the league on notice. He scored the final 7 points to send it to OT, including a sick drive by All-NBA defender Tayshaun Prince. LeBron then scored every Cleveland point in OT, and they went to the NBA Finals after Game 6. But the next 3 years, Cleveland tried and failed to build around him. Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Pau Gasol, Jason Kidd all changed teams, but all the Cavs could get was Delonte West, Mo Williams, and a washed-up Shaq. Eventually, LeBron had to leave to prove that he could win a chip with Hall of Fame teammates. Well, so far, Luka can relate. The Mavs had a generational talent fall into their lap, and somehow, 5 seasons later, assembled one of the worst rosters in the NBA around him. Again, remind you of someone. Luka decides to rest 1 game and they get blown out by the Rockets, the worst team in the league. Game before that, Luka had to bail him out with a clutch 3 against the Clippers. Right now, all of Luka's best teammates are old and have no All-Star appearances. Only guy that you'd maybe give a pass to is Christian Wood, but even he is beefing with the coaching staff. But the Mavs have a master plan to make sure Luka doesn't leave like LeBron did. Luka's under contract until 2027, but in 2025, the salary cap goes up. They want a $75 billion TV deal, giving Dallas huge cap space. They can give stupid contracts to a great free agent class. Look who's available. Young stars like Jason Tatum, Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell. Hall of Fame vets like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Jimmy Butler. If they can't sign 1 or 2 big names, they can trade for one, because in 2025, the Porzingis debt is paid off. They will have 0 restrictions on how many first-round picks they can deal. But if you think 2025 is too long to wait, it's actually right on time for Luka, because all-time players win their first title around that age. Now, Tim Duncan and Larry Bird are outliers here, but guys like Giannis, he was 26, LeBron was 27, Michael Jordan was 28. There are guys who break through sooner, like Magic or Kobe, but they weren't the best player on the team. Magic had Kareem, Kobe obviously had Shaq. If Luka gets those elite teammates in 2025, he will be 26 years old. But That's where the actual problem comes in, because LeBron proved who he actually is as a player in Miami. Not only did he make his teammates better, he made them the best versions of themselves. We already knew that LeBron was so talented he could take over any game by himself, but people doubted if he could do more than that. But he did evolve his game with Hall of Fame teammates. We will see if Luka can do the same thing. But an ex-teammate doesn't think so. He called out an ugly truth about Luka. Kristaps Porzingis was supposed to be a perfect fit. 7-foot all-star in the front court to play with Luka in the back court. Perfect. Now, I know he did get injured a lot, but they never really built that chemistry. KP regressed so much, he was disrespected by fans and media on his way out. Then, when he got traded, this is what he had to say.
The main thing for me is to take advantage of those mismatches. You know, if they put a guard on me, it's ridiculous for 7'3" to stand out and only shoot threes, you know? But I have to be effective.
And he wasn't. Are we sure this isn't just how Luka wants to play? I mean, he knows he can take over games, and he is rewarded with the #1 offense every year. Even when they gave him an all-star to play with, it didn't work. I know Luka is all-time talented, but can he evolve his game to win titles? I honestly have doubts. The comparison for Luka should be early Cavs LeBron before the all-time teammates. But with Luka, there are other red flags. Bad on defense, comes into camp out of shape, always complaining to the refs, horrible body language. Those all scream to me a guy who just will not win titles, which is so hard to believe considering his all-time talent. But we shouldn't be comparing to James Harden. He is not like that. I do think that Luka could win one title for sure with how talented he is, because he's still a beast in the playoffs, but multiple chips is just really hard to see, which is a huge disappointment for somebody with LeBron level talent. You may have noticed that I'm wearing the Mavs Big 3 shirt. There are actually little tears here on Luka. That's because we are launching the AM Hoops merch store today, and I'm super pumped because it's actually like a merch store that I'm excited about. So the plan is to come up with like really cool designs and keep them up for a few weeks, so if you can snag one if you like it, but then like rotate designs. And if there's a design that's like super popular, I'll put it back into the rotation. So I don't have an actual model to model these things, so I'm gonna use my baby, even though I don't have baby sizes for these, so use your imagination. Russ has been playing so good. I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but he's definitely the scapegoat. Actually, my favorite shirt is probably this one. It's the AM Hoops logo. It's got like the really subtle AM Hoops logo there in the corner. I actually had you guys vote on that logo, and you like that one the best. And honestly, who needs Victor Wembanyama when you have Bol Bol? So guys, you can click the link in the description to actually go to the merch shop, or you can just, I've got like the little merch shelf right below this video. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you, all the comments, all the views these last 3 years, and for the support on the merch store. I'm actually excited to roll this thing out to you guys because I really like the designs and the concept behind it. You know who has LeBron level talent right now? Dwight Howard in Taiwan. Should this dude not be like the 4th center on somebody's bench? No, he shouldn't be, because he has sneakily been kicked out of the NBA, and I talk about why right here.